Breaking Zero, Scorpio Sky, Ultimate Daniels, Collective Gas, SoCal, and Censored Or, SCU.
And this is the All Elite Podcast, which happens to be the worst podcast I've ever been on. SCU.
This is Isaiah Cassidy. I'm Mark Quinn, and we're Private Party.
And you're listening to the All Elite Podcast.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the All Elite Podcast. Welcome back again. We just here yesterday, and we're back today for episode number 55 of the All Elite Podcast, your Dynamite review and recap. Right here in the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all wrestling podcast content and more. I sound a bit echoey today, guys, and if you're watching on the YouTube version of this podcast, I do apologize for the echo for this episode, but I've moved into a new room. I have a new podcast studio. As you can see, I've already started setting up the background. We got the AEP poster to my left, and on the right, we have the All Elite Wrestling flag with, as you can see, little tiny back there, little dolls. We got at Starcast, got my Kenny hanging out up there, so the backdrop will continue to get add stuff to the backdrop as we go on. Obviously, I need some blinds for the window to my left here as well. Got to fix the lighting in here, but it's a work in progress. But we're gonna get this episode out because last night's Dynamite was explosive.
Oh my god,
to say the least. But I'm your host as always of the All Elite Podcast and the owner and CEO of the No Holds Barred Network, Kyle Masters. I'm always joined by my co-host. She is the executive vice president of Giggles, the heartbreak chick herself, Tiffany.
Damn. Forgot the Queen of the Indies.
Queen of the Indies, which is important because might as well announce something right now that's in the works currently. Tiffany being the Queen of the Indies herself, her self-proclaimed title there. She's actually working on another show for the network. God, we're going to have so many shows on this damn network. She's working because she goes to so many indie shows and she has the opportunity and the luxury of going to all these indie shows around her area. She's going to be doing an independent wrestling podcast on the network about all the indie shows she attends and her accounts for it, and just talking indie wrestling. If you guys are a fan of all that, it'll be added to the network soon. We think we've come up with a name so far. We're going to get logos made and whatnot, so keep an eye out on the No Holds Barred Network Twitter at NHB Network.
Yes, I'm excited since we're doing Under the Ropes as well, so all these amazing things, you know. So, but we'll see. But and actually this week, Sunday, we're doing Under the Ropes.
Yes, the Sunday will be back for Under the Ropes, where we interview independent wrestling stars, and we got a big one this Sunday. Should we reveal who it is?
That's fine. Okay, so if you guys have listened to the podcast before, then you guys heard me tell the story how I chopped the wrestler at IWA. So actually, he has a podcast as well. So we're doing a double podcast. We're going to be on his, me and Kyle. And we're actually going to review the movie The Wrestler. So this is going to be fun.
Hey.
Good movie. Great movie.
Can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But so Anthony St. James, this is going to be very fun, and we're going to do it a little bit different than how we normally do our interviews, so it should be fun. We're just going to shoot the shit with him. We're not really going to do our normal questions. We're just going to see where it goes, and then possibly I might chop him again.
Oh, okay then. All right.
We'll We'll see.
But guys, welcome to episode number 55. 55 episodes in for this All Elite podcast where myself and Tiff talk about everything that goes on in the AEW world. Keep you guys up to date with reviews of the Dynamite show each and every single week, and do predictions and reviews for pay-per-views like we just did for Full Gear this past weekend, which myself and Tiff were fortunate enough to go to StarCast. So that review is up on the channel right now, the episode directly behind this one. So go check that out right now, live on the channel and everywhere for your listening pleasures on the go. So last night's episode, Tiff, damn, that was a good episode.
It was really good. Every week I feel like it's getting better and better and better. I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like each week it's just getting more better.
You know what? It does, because you know that they're learning from their mistakes, obviously, because they're not going to be perfect out of the gate, which we've mentioned time and time again on this podcast. They're going to be rusty out of the gate, and they're going to work on whatever their problems are, and they're obviously shown they're working on it, and they'll progressively get better at it. So we're only almost a month and a half into this TV show on a weekly basis, and so far they've done it. You're right, they've done a better job of getting better each and every single week, and they're doing a good job of keeping you in and getting brought in for the next week, and that's a crucial point to a wrestling television show. The purpose of it is to get you to keep watching and tuning back in each and every single week. And what they did this week was huge for getting you to tune in back next week, because there's 2 huge matches now announced for Indianapolis next week, which we'll get into in the Dynamite review. So good on AEW for keeping on with this train of getting you to keep coming back, because it's definitely working. Actually worked this morning. I tweeted it out on my Twitter account. I turn on my Sports Center. So up here, our Sports Center is called TSN, and it's with these 2 guys named Jay Onright and Dan O'Toole. Those guys are hilarious. So they actually had Chris Jericho on their morning show this morning, and he was in character the whole time. It was freaking hilarious. It was so good. And they're doing it too because they're up here, like I said before, there's TSN 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. AEW Dynamite's on TSN 2, which you actually have to subscribe to. You don't get it for free, which kind of sucks. But from what our boy No Sell Phil read, that it's moving to TSN 4, which is the regular cable channel, coming this December. So that's good that they're now promoting it. And it was on TSN 4 this morning, so they're now promoting it that way. So it's really cool that way.
Pretty awesome.
And actually, we just found out before we went on the air, the ratings came out for last night too.
Yeah, what was it? 957,000, and then NXT was 750.
So close to 1 million. So close.
I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I don't really care about the ratings. I mean, a lot of people are so worried about the ratings that it doesn't change anything.
It really doesn't.
Watch what you like. I mean, still, like, NXT is still good. And that's it. You watch what you like. I know a lot of people that watch both. I've actually watched both too. So like I was watching NXT late last night as well. So
it's not a problem with TNT, that's for sure. We know they've come out and said like TNT is happy with the numbers that AEW is doing, and it's beating a lot of their shows that are appearing on TNT Drama. And as long as it's doing that, then they have no problem with it, right? I don't think they're ever gonna have a problem with it either. So it's doing really good right now on TNT. So again, ratings are ratings, but I think last night had a big spike as well because of the fallout of what happened at Full Gear. Obviously, with MJF, people want to know what the hell was going to be said. Was he going to appear? Was Cody going to appear? Like, what was going to be? What was happening on this show? And it was a pay-per-view fallout of a really good pay-per-view. So obviously, there's going to be a big spike in numbers. Nothing much really going on sports-wise on TV last night. So obviously, they're going to get obviously that more of an audience as well. But it was good. 900,000 is really good, regardless of the ratings or what we think about it. Good for them. Other than that, I didn't really see much. I saw a little bit something. I think you sent it to us, Tiff, that there's been more talks of maybe doing a Dynamite on the Jarrett Cruise. I know we brought this up on an early podcast back in thinking like June or May that they're thinking about talking about going on the Jarrett Cruise.
Oh yeah, that might be the possibility that they're going to film the Dynamite episode on the cruise.
So it won't be live; it'll be a taped. Then they'll send it off probably somehow in a helicopter or a jet. Probably Tony Khan's private jet, because they could probably land a jet onto the boat somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be interesting because I know, like, I watched what they put out on the pay-per-view from it. but we didn't see everything. You couldn't see everything unless you were on the cruise.
Yeah.
Good thing I knew people that were on the cruise because my friends were sending me pictures of what was going on. So, man, I wish I was going on the cruise. But but it'd be cool. I mean, it would be interesting. It was an interesting concept, what we saw through the pay-per-view last year with the Jericho cruise.
Yeah. So, anywho, let's get into the Dynamite review, shall we?
Let's
do it. So we get to AEW Dynamite from Nashville this week. It was the Full Gear Fallout. The only announced match was the main event of Sammy G and Chris Jericho versus SCU for the Tag Team Championships. I got more to say about this once we get to it, so we'll wait till the main event in that case. But we opened up the show with showing how banged up Omega was. And, man, he had ever a black eye on him. That was I didn't think... I was wondering where he got the black eye from, and they kind of showed you as well. It was the Phoenix Splash spot where he hit his head right on the wooden part of the ring. That's where he got his black eye from, and man, it was black. Like,
some people were saying, was this real or was it like makeup?
I don't know.
See it on like social media, so.
I mean, they really didn't need to do it. If it was, I don't know if it. I can't tell if it was. But again, big black eye from the Phoenix Splash spot. They showed his back too. It was all torn up from the barbed wire and all the mouse traps. Basically, he was being told by the ring doctor, we're suggesting to take the week off and we'll go from there. Then Omega actually asked about Moxley. Well, how's Moxley doing? And he's like, well, actually, Moxley's cleared to compete. And then just the look of disappointment on Kenny's face was just, ugh. He's just like, are you serious? So, Omega pretty banged up from that match. Moxley clearly okay, because that's how we open up Dynamite, was the first match, Jon Moxley against Michael Nakazawa, of all people.
I like how it all like ties in with each other, because even that you had like Michael Nakazawa in the promo, I guess, with Kenny Omega in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So, but what a squash match!
I know. I was like, this is not going to be any longer than 2 minutes. This can't be. So it ended up being a very quick match. Nakazawa even tried to like be a tough guy and throw away the baby oil. He's like, I'm not going to use this, and he whipped it. And then Moxley wins in quick fashion. He actually gets on the mic here, and the first thing he says, he looks towards the front of the stage. He goes, "That one counted, right?" Because he thinks there's like this conspiracy that AEW doesn't want him to have a win-loss record and doesn't want his wins or matches to count. So he talks about Full Gear in his match with Kenny Omega, and he kind of gives him props. Then he just cuts like it's another unreal promo by Jon Moxley. Basically, this guy is just shows what he can do actually unscripted, and it's to me when I remember him as Dean Ambrose back in WWE, I don't remember his promos ever being that good. I remember this character being, loved by everyone, but his promo work was, semi-decent WWE. Now, like, when he's given the freedom, he's just showing to everybody that, he can step up to the plate and deliver an unreal promo with freedom. So he actually opened challenges anyone to step up to him in the AEW locker room, and he's like, basically, no one's going to really come up to me because everyone's scared of me. And then he leaves through the crowd just like he came. He actually made his entrance through the crowd, and he left the same exact way.
I love like all the things that he was saying though. And he was like, where he's like, kiss your family before you face me, or have the ambulance on speed dial. Mm-hmm. Like, I was never really a fan of Dean Ambrose, but like ever since we've gotten him in AEW, like I'm a huge fan of Jon Moxley, right? So, but.
Yeah, he's really good at cutting a promo. Like
you feel it. That's the thing. You totally like you're with it, and it's just I get goosebumps with a lot of these promos. But this last night it was on fire. This promo.
So eventually we got to the Dark Order versus Jungle Express, which was Marco Stunt and God, sorry, I'm drawing up like Jungle Boy. Oh my God. It was a decent back and forth match. Both teams got a lot of their momentum in. It was a weird matchup at first because it wasn't for anything. It just kind of was a place tag team, but we got what the idea was it for it at the end. Dark Order basically incapacitated Jungle Boy to a point on the side where it led to a double team on Marco Stunt, and they took advantage of that. They hit their finisher for the win, and Dark Order wins over the Jungle Express. But we weren't done here.
Jurassic Express.
Huh?
Jurassic Express.
Did I say Jungle Express? Oh, man.
Jurassic Express.
A mess. Anyway, so Evil Uno and Stu Grayson get in the ring with the Creepers, Tiff's favorites.
Guys,
and
shows.
he gets on the mic, Evil Uno, and he actually gives props to Marco Stunt, and he says, like, you know, your talents are being wasted with your team. Why don't you join the Dark Order where we can actually use you to the best of your ability? And I'm like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. So they try to give him a mask, and he's actually reaching for it, and then Jungle Boy actually stops that and says, no, he's wearing this mask, the Luchasaurus mask. And then they start beating up on Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. And then Luchasaurus actually makes his return. I'm shocked. So the original reports of him being out long term are now, you know, we can confirm they're fake. And he actually retweeted. I remember him retweeting and saying, where's this coming from? So
A lot of people were expecting him to show up last night as well.
Yeah,
that
so
was all over the place.
So he came back, and he came out for the save, and he looked good. He looks like he hasn't, you know, really. I mean, he hasn't been gone that long, but he doesn't look hurt at all. Like there's always that one. It's always the first time a wrestler comes back from injury. You kind of look at them going and trying to, you study them to the point like you're like, oh, are they still nagging? Is injury still hurting him? Are they afraid to maybe do more than they're used to? No, he looked pretty good last night.
Yeah. I like that at the end where they hugged, and I don't know if you saw the tweet from Brent that it's bullshit or whatever.
So Trent Reddit didn't like the tweet.
Yeah, then Trent like retweeted it and said,
he's like, this is bullshit.
It's not because we have to. It's not like we have to. It's because we want to.
So they kind of did like the best friend hug in the middle of the ring, and it's like
pull the camera back. So like the shade.
Yeah. So Sean Spears, there's a weird impromptu triple threat match with Sean Spears, Peter Avalon, and Darby Allin. So we got what the purpose of this match was at the end. It's one of those things where you had to wait till the end to know what the purpose of it all was. Sean Spears and Peter Avalon were just kind of a throw-in. I'm just going to stop right here. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Tiff, but to all these people out there giving Sean Spears crap about like, oh, Sean Spears on TV is boring time. Like, are you serious? Are you serious, people? People criticize and think he's boring. He's a good wrestler. And this whole gimmick with Tully Blanchard is awesome. Guys are not giving him the time of day. And I'm calling you people out. You people know who you are.
I still think like he doesn't need Tully, but I get it. But I think that's gonna like play later down the line. That Tully's gonna turn on Sean. And it's gonna lead into a match or something at one of the big pay-per-views. I think.
We'll see. Wait, Tully versus Sean Spears?
Yeah, at a pay-per-view.
You think Tully's gonna wrestle?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think Tully can wrestle. He can barely walk to the ring. There's no way Tully's wrestling. Take that out of your head right away. He's not. If Ricky Martin barely pulled off the Canadian Destroyer, Tully Blanchard ain't wrestling.
You don't know.
I do know that because he limps like he can't run.
So can a lot of other wrestlers.
He's not going to be able to wrestle. There's no way. He barely jumped off the steps to do the spike pile driver.
Okay.
Not happening. Anyways, into the triple threat match. Janela came out actually eventually to antagonize Sean Spears, and actually led to the point of them fighting all the way to the outside and towards the back. So Sean Spears kind of got taken out of the match. This basically became a one-on-one match, and Darby ends up getting the win with the coffin drop. And Darby gets on the mic and actually accepts Jon Moxley's challenge. I forgot. I didn't actually mention that. So Moxley kind of made an open challenge to anyone in the locker room to step up to him. And then Darby got on the mic and says, Moxley, I accept.
This is going to be good.
So this match is actually booked for next week, which is awesome. This is what I was talking about earlier. The AEW keeps getting you to come back each and every single week. So Here's one of the matches: Darby versus John Moxley, which is kind of like a dream match in AEW so far. So,
but even like the whole thing with like Joey Janela and Shawn Spears, and then Joey Janela put, I don't know, did you see the video on Twitter that he was saying that, you know, that he wasn't cleared, and then they told him not to come, but he didn't care. So and that
I did not see that.
You didn't see that? Yeah, he put it's on like Twitter. I don't know. I'm sure it's on Facebook.
It's on like Twitter. You act like it's just the bulletin board in the next room. It's actually right over there. If you want to go take a look at it.
It's right here, guys. Like, ew. Like, no, it's on social media that he cut a promo about it. That he wasn't cleared, but he showed up anyway, and that he was going after Shawn Spears, and so I can't wait. I can't wait for another match for this. So
yeah. So after this, we had Nyla Rose and, if I can read her name right, Danny Jordan.
Yes.
Did I write that down correctly? Yeah. Danny Jordan. I guess she's a local indie competitor. Was in the area. She's an indie competitor. I've seen a lot of people tweet about it. So that's what I'm assuming she was. Didn't really look into it. Nyla Rose kind of made quick of her, and it was a really quick win. I mean, I'm not a fan of the squash matches. Like, I hated those in WWE, and now that we're getting with Nyla, I'm like, do we really need a showcase for Nyla Rose? Like, is that necessary? We know what she's about. We know she's a beast. We know she kills people. Like, why do we need this? Or is it just a way to put her on TV? Like, I did not understand this match.
Maybe it was another way to like put more women on TV, because since a lot of people are complaining that we're not getting enough women.
She did look good though. Like, I'll admit, like, she looked very like this was probably the best looking match she's had so far. And I mean, that's saying a lot, but she looked very good. So
it might still be that they're trying out some of the indies.
I guess.
Felt like that because they are looking for more, and where are you going to find them? You're going to find them in indies. So what's the best way than going to wherever town you're in and going for one of your local promotions?
I guess. I hope so.
Maybe she had potential. There was a lot of people that actually like.
Well, then I think they maybe should have made note of that. They kind of need to make note of that. They can't, because right now you're just copying WWE in that case. Because they do squash matches in that company without any reason. They don't tell you why.
But it could be a tryout. That's what I'm thinking.
But that's what I mean. That's what they should come out and say, thank you. They should send out a tweet like, that was Jordan. That was Danny Jordan, by the way. Another local competitor that we're trying out in AEW. You know what I mean? Like, they need to make reason of this. They can't just do the squash match and not mention the reason why they're doing it.
Right.
I don't like squash matches. I hate them.
Okay.
They made a weird. This is a weird announcement because I don't know what the hell this is all about, and they spent literally zero time on it. And JR was even confused by it. They're doing a Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal next week, where the last two people standing in the Battle Royal, the match ends there, by the way. The last two people standing will fight the following week for a ring. A Dynamite Dozen ring. Now, is this considered the minor championship? Why are they doing a ring?
I don't know.
I was like, what? They said it, and I'm going, what? And there was no explanation. There was like zero anything. I tried going to AEW's Twitter account. There was no explanation about it. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Maybe it's BT mailbag time or whatever. Again, we're doing things differently here, so you can't expect. This is new stuff, so we're just gonna go with.
I just expect explanation. You need explanation. You cannot make the fans look stupid, or else you're following in the footsteps of the company you're trying to be an alternative from. You need to You need to explain stuff. You can't just do stuff.
Better. Maybe it just wasn't explained last night better.
Oh, that's a poor job. That was
even I said in the chat, it's got to be something they're planning long term. So it's probably going to be explained better next week.
I hope so, because it is next week, the freaking match. It's not like it's a month from now. It's next week.
Yeah. No, they're not going to have a mid-card title anytime soon.
Can we get like a Tony Schiavone control center this weekend explaining this all, please? Like, I need more info.
Well, tweet at them after this podcast, okay?
Because I don't even see anyone talking about it. I looked on Twitter today for a bit. I don't see nobody talking about it. I have questions that need to be answered.
After so, or even said that was explained so bad I completely missed it, to be honest. Yeah, actually, I did too.
So, And right from that, we went right directly to, speaking of, Tony Schiavone interviewing Allie down on the ramp. And I was wondering what the hell is going on here. And I'm like, okay, something's happening. And it was awkward because the music didn't start, but the Titantron was playing in the background of Awesome Kong and Brandy. I'm like, okay, do they even realize it's on? And then finally the lights go out, and then they come back on, and Awesome Kong's there with Brandy and their whole gimmick. So we got to finally see like their entrance on Dynamite. So it looks like they're going to be continuing that. If you look closely at Awesome Kong's belt, you can see her like collection of hair from these wrestlers she's stealing hair from. So she brought out her crazy switchblade thing. They beat up on Allie and they took a piece of her hair. Or I'm assuming her extension.
Yeah, I would think so too, because you see like how Brandy's going into.
Yeah, she's like looking for it.
Yeah, so I feel like it's planted there, but
It's still creepy.
oh, it is
Love
creepy, but I like it. And even like I was telling my friend that was here last night, I was like, I'm actually liking the fact that like Brandy's in a completely different role. It's not so much of being like Cody's, sidekick, if you want to like call it like that. I'm loving this. Like it's her own gimmick. So it's intriguing me to see where we're going with this.
So after that, we moved on to the this was probably the best part of the night. So Chris Jericho comes out and he talks about everyone in AEW that still owes him a thank you, and that he's still the champion. Talks about Full Gear, and then Cody Rhodes and he's like, I think they're training Cody. Yeah, they're training Cody. He's like, well, Cody's not here, and then Cody's entrance starts. I'm like, oh shit, he's actually there. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going, what the hell is going on here? And then they're doing this the whole regular entrance with the chandelier goes down, then it comes up, and then it's not Cody that comes down from the stage. It's actually MJF coming up, and I'm like, oh my god, this already at this point is the best promo and the best thing of the night. I'm like, my god, he's doing his exact entrance with the exact pyro, even down all the way to the music they did. So that was pretty cool. So MJF finally eventually gets into the ring. He cuts a promo on Cody Rhodes, and it's he basically calling him a liar for telling him all these things, and down to the point where like he talks about where Cody brought him on as like his mentor, and saying instead of carrying him under his wing, he pushed him down with his thumb, and everything that he's told MJF is a lie, and everything he's told the fans is a lie, and he's not the villain here. Cody is. And it was such an unreal promo. MJF is an insane promo. And that guy's doing it all unscripted too. Like, and I think he's right. When he says like he's the face of the company, I would believe it. MJF is just that good, and he's still young.
Star. He's that upcoming star. I think he still needs more in-ring work. But his mouth, but he's always been like that. And man, he's like blessed to like, damn. He's like so hated. It's that so hated, love him deal. So
after he cuts his promo on Cody, he turns his attention to Jericho, and he tells Jericho, he's like, I heard from a little birdie that you want me to join the inner circle. And then Jericho was like, well, I heard from a little birdie that you want to join the inner circle. And they literally said the same thing back and forth to each other a bunch of times. They got into an argument, and they're like, eventually they're like screaming in each other's faces, and Cody's like, or Jericho's like, you know what we could both agree on is who we actually hate. They both stop, look at each other, and then they both go back, Cody Rhodes. And guys, stop there. They said the words Cody and Rhodes together on television. I don't think we've ever heard them say Cody and Rhodes together at all, ever, in AEW.
Yeah.
So that I was like, all of a sudden I'm like, what? And I think Jericho actually, while they were arguing back and forth, because it's tough to tell, I think he might have accidentally said WWE at one point. If you have to listen very carefully. But then actually Cody ends up coming out. So Cody Rhodes actually came out, and I was shocked too. I'm like, oh, okay, so you can still see he's got like fresh stitches in his head, and he makes his way to the ring, and he starts attacking both of them. And out of nowhere, some big, huge mother guy, I'm like, oh my god, who's this massive guy, comes in. And at first it took me about 2 seconds. I'm like, oh my god, I think this is Wardlow. And then the commentators mentioned Wardlow, and I'm like, oh shit, it is.
Does he look like a jacked up Marty Scurll?
He looks like if Marty Scurll turned into the Hulk. You know what I mean?
I think everybody thought that. I thought like very quick. It was like Marty Scurll, but like because of the bun and everything. But yeah, he looks like a jacked up Marty Scurll.
Yeah, and man, oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy. So he ended up helping up MJF. The one thing I want to point out though, before this is, so MJF and Jericho kind of hugged each other. And everyone's saying like, oh, did MJF join the inner circle here? And I don't know. I don't think he's actually a part of the inner circle. I think him and Wardlow are their own. I think him and Wardlow are just a pair together. Because if you notice, Wardlow is wearing a Burberry tie. So that's a good pairing right there. I met MJF and Wardlow. But if they are part of the inner circle, like I was telling Tiff before we went on here, I'm like, that's 7 people. Do they want a 7-person faction? You know what I mean?
I'd say, yeah. I mean, how many people are in the Bullet Club? I mean, not that I'm comparing it to the Bullet Club or anything, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, more clear. We need answers to that too.
Yeah, we would think in theory that he's joined. So
God, it's tough
I don't
to
know.
tell.
It's gonna be interesting to see what goes on moving forward.
Mm-hmm. So I want to know if they're part of the inner circle, and if they are, this is going to create some more. I mean, it makes sense with the elite and inner circle thing to continue because Young Bucks and Proud and Powerful are. I think actually it's that what we got next was the beatdown. If I pull up my notes here.
Yeah, that's what's next.
So yeah, so we had we had Hangman and Pac first.
That's right.
How dare you?
I have my notes backwards. Sorry.
Well, I can barely see in here. The light's gone down outside, so now it's dark in here. We kind of need to turn the light on. I'm gonna probably gonna reach for it. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna reach for it.
Get it.
All right.
There you go.
There we go.
Let there be light.
What's that?
Let there be light.
Yes. Now we have some natural lighting in here. Don't look like I'm in a cave. I actually see my notes now. Look at this. So Hangman versus Pac. We got the rubber match here. But I have to say something. The commercial took a lot out of this match. I don't know if anyone noticed that too. There was an early commercial break, and we got back, and the crowd was like very fired up for a spot. I'm like, did we just miss a bunch of this match? Like I didn't. This was one of those commercial breaks that didn't have picture in picture. So This kind of sucked.
By the way, just Ray said in the chat, thank you, but he did say Bullet Club currently has 12 members.
Okay.
I knew it was pretty big, so we don't know. I mean, 7, that's really not that big. And actually, we were talking earlier about the Elite, but I still feel that this is where, like, eventually Marty Scurll's going to come in. And if you really want, I mean, it's not the initial Elite, but I kind of, in a way, I partially put SCU with them as well, even though they're doing their own separate thing. But I feel like maybe we'll have something later.
If you add SCU, that's 7 though. Then you can't add anybody else.
It's not, they're not really with it, but in a way, like if you think about it, they kind of are. So, but
I don't want this big end up brawl between 8 and 8 people. I don't want that.
I think we're gonna like.
That's why I think MJF and Wardlow are their own. Like they have a mutual respect with Inner Circle, but they're just their own thing.
We'll see how it goes. But anyway, continue. I'm sorry. I'm just.
So again, like I said, I think the commercial break took a lot out of it. Hangman finally was able to hit the buckshot finally in this match. He hasn't been able to hit that all pay-per-view on Saturday. Pac eventually got to a point where he was stomping on Hangman's head. And he was doing it so much to a point where he was literally like shoving the referee, and he did it about 3 or 4 times, and basically looked like Pac or Hangman was just knocked out. He was able to hit the Black Arrow, then locked in the Brutalizer, and that's it. So Pac wins, and he does it in bastardly form, living up to his nickname of just beating the crap out of Hangman Page to the point where he was incapacitated. So I thought that was a really good ending to this. I don't know if this is the end of it. I don't know if there's a feud that might revisit later on down the line now, because it kind of seems like this could be a feud that could always revisit, and it'll always deliver.
That's what I feel like. I
Yeah.
feel like we're gonna get it revisited later down the line. Maybe we'll see some stuff later, but yeah, I think this is gonna be like a fight forever kind of feud.
Yeah. Kind of like when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn used to always fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like we're gonna get here.
Yeah. So, Young Bucks and Proud and Powerful. We finally get this backstage view. There was something going on, so they quickly switched, and it was Young Bucks and Proud and Powerful just beating the crap out of each other. The heat between these two teams is at an all-time high right now. We thought it would come to an end after Sunday, but I guess Proud and Powerful didn't take too kindly to Rock and Roll Express helping out the Young Bucks, so they took their frustrations out on the Young Bucks this week. They're beating their crap out of each other all around backstage. There's even best spot of the whole part. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Is where Santana threw, I believe it was Matt into the door, and the door swung open. It was like a bathroom, and our boy Orange Cassidy was just sitting there with his hands in his pocket doing his whole pose, and then Santana's like, what the fuck? Goes over the door and just closes it. Going, what the hell? I love, like, we went from a serious brawl to like a little comedic factor throughout it, and that was just Orange Cassidy.
Santana's face was great though, but I love the interaction that was going on Twitter on Santana's page. Somebody asked him, what went through your head when you opened up the door and Orange Cassidy was there just staring you down? His response was, did that smell come out of you, or why are you just standing there? I love those guys. They're so great.
They went to a commercial break, but this was like picture in picture, and you can see through the picture in picture they were just attacking each other all throughout. They made their way through the crowd. Eventually, they made their way to the ring, and just craziness from here. They made their way finally. They're just brawling all over the ring. They made their way up on the stage, and Proud and Powerful pull up the same spot they did to the Rock and Roll Express with the power bombs through the stage, and they did it to Matt Jackson, and Matt Jackson that was a loud smash. That was loud. And look at they're about to do it to, what's that?
Did you realize with him spray painting the circle that it means the inner circle of him putting magic?
Look at you. You're so smart. Anyways, yeah, God, your smartness just threw me off track here. Just over the top. Just, God, I have a big head. I think your brain's so big that you have the bigger head.
Smack.
Like, oh my God, like, look what I got here. Look. Oh, yep, I found a stud. She's right there.
You're so stupid. I can't with you.
Anyway, so Matt Jackson goes through the inner circle spray paint. They looked like they were going to do it to Nick Jackson on the other side, but our boy cut the footage, made the save. But it didn't work. They kind of beat the crap out of him.
Tweet it, make sure he's okay.
And then Private Party made their way out. And they got a big ovation. Like, did you hear that? Like, the crowd was all over them.
I'm so happy for them.
So they got in their face of Proud and Powerful, and they actually booked next week. Private Party is going to go one-on-one with Proud and Powerful, and this means a lot too, because these two coming fresh out of House of Glory, and they even made mention of Matt Travis here, and they said that this is basically almost going to be like it's going to be a grudge match for them helping the Elite. It's also going to be all a tribute to Matt Travis match, which is awesome that they're doing that in AEW and giving it television exposure. So that's really good.
If you guys are, I mean, I'm going to put it over anyway. If you guys were in the New York area, House of Glory is this Saturday. So they are paying tribute to him. So it's going to be an insane, it's going to be crazy. I have a feeling it's going to be just as crazy of how it was when the Young Bucks faced Private Party there. So, but there are some wrestlers that are going to appear there. I saw Tommy Dreamer is going to show up. God knows who else is going to show up. So, yeah, so I will be there. So if you guys are going to go, hit me up, come say hi. So, but yeah.
Awesome. So, and then next, so we have that plus the Darby and Moxie next week. God, like the storytelling we're getting with these, that's what I love about it. Like, I love that we're not just getting matches every week that kind of mean nothing. Well, we are, but you know, I love that mostly we're getting matches that are storytelling for the previous week, because now we're not gonna have a pay-per-view for a while. So it's one of those things that you have to continue storylines going into week after week after week. So you're just building week after week here. You're until you get closer to the next pay-per-view. So these are two matches that are going to be awesome next week. Can't wait to see them. And I can't wait to see what comes out of some other matches and other things next week on Dynamite. But we're not over yet. We got the main event of SCU, Chris Jericho, and Sammy G, AEW World Tag Team Championships. So, yeah, here's where I have a problem.
I was just going to say,
After all the announcements and everything, the match started with only 10 minutes of TV time left. If you heard me rant on the review show, I ranted about they're not giving enough time for this championship. What are we doing here? This is the third time now, guys. This is the third championship match for these titles, and they're not getting enough time. Now I understand that it's Jericho and Sammy G. You know, they're still a good team, but we're not expecting a 25-minute clash out of these guys. I still think that if you're going to be booking a championship main event, it should be given more than 10 minutes time.
Yeah.
I'm not, right. And it's the tag team titles.
Right. It is important.
They got to learn.
It's just rushing it, but this is the difference of the fact of like that we're watching a 2-hour show and it's so good and you're trying to push everything into the 2 hours.
And the worst part, they had a commercial. I'm like, what the fuck? There's 10 minutes left. Like, why is there a commercial right now? Anyways. God. Now you can see how time constraints are really pissing me off. So.
Well, don't you think it would be like, I mean, I probably would still love it, but it'd be a lot for like 3 hours.
You don't need a commercial break if you have 10 minutes left on the air, and it's a World Tag Team Championship match.
But I don't think they're in control of the commercials.
Well, maybe they should.
Okay, God.
Very close near falls near the end. I'm loving Scorpio Sky in this match. He looked really, really good. He ends up hitting a roll-up, and it actually pinned. He actually pinned the world champion, Chris Jericho, and that's actually the first time he's been pinned in AEW ever. Boy, did this ever get half backlash and half praise.
Well, let me put a note to this as well, because you remember when Chris Jericho won the belt in the beginning, and then he did the promo at the back, and he was yelling at he goes, "Yeah, Bucky boys, and I'm the champion," and da-da-da, and then he went in the back, he's like, "Scorpio Sky, you'll never get a shot at the title." Don't you feel since Scorpio Sky pinned Jericho should get a title match?
Well, if this is the reason why, I'll give them props. If they're just doing it randomly, then I don't give them props.
But think about it, right?
Got to be continuity here.
I would love it. I mean, this is what I love. And Scorpio Sky should have the title one day. I would love it. But holy crap. Man,
Chris Jericho, first time pinned in AEW at the hands of Scorpio Sky on a Dynamite episode.
Yes.
Whether this was planned, was it supposed to happen? Like, I don't know. But again, another rushed roll-up ending. Why? You see how much the commentators had to rush while Jericho was throwing shit all over the ring and being pissed off. Yeah. Like, it was funny, but I'm like, they're like the end titles were coming out. I'm like, they're rushing it.
Maybe the Jericho and MJF promo could have been a little bit less. It was entertaining as hell, though. But then again, we wouldn't have had anything with the women's if the whole squash match with Nyla Rose wasn't in there.
You know, that could have been saved too. That we didn't really need that. not throwing anything against.
No, because that
Jax and just.
I always got something to say, and I'm not trying to go negative on it because we want to build our women up as well. So I don't know, but. I mean, it was good. It was such a good episode, and the episodes go so quick. I was like, damn, this is over already? I can keep going and watching it.
Yeah. But I think it's good at 2 hours. It's good. We're 2 hours.
It is. I don't want to overkill. This is what I talk about. I don't want to overkill. Hey, listen, one of the girls of New York made it in the dark match.
Oh, so yeah, you tweeted out the dark matches.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get the dark matches. Okay. I know one that was best friends.
Don't worry, we have podcast time remaining here. You can take as much time as you can.
Shut up. Okay, so we had best friends versus Private Party. We had Britt Baker and Rhea and Chris Statlander. Yes, Yes.
Who?
Yes, she is from New York. She comes out of Creator Pro. I just saw her. I think it was Outlaw. I saw her. But
What's her name?
Chris Statlander.
Statlander, like from
Yeah.
Staten Island, Statlander.
Yes.
Oh wow, I actually guessed that.
Yes. Well, no, it's not because of that, but I'm just saying that because you're saying like Staten Island or whatever. But yeah, she's from New York here. She's come out of Creator Pro NYWC. I'm pretty sure I saw her at Outlaw. She's going to be at House of Glory this Saturday. Like I'm
Ooh.
putting over House of Glory. So I was really excited. I was so excited last night when I saw that she had her own Titantron in the background. So I'm so excited for her. Yay!
Woo.
And then so we had Young Bucks versus the Strong Hearts. So I'm excited for the match as
So
well.
they actually had a match. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see that match.
I wonder if it had to have been before. Then that should have been the first match then, because I don't think Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson were, in the right shape to do an After Dark match.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Oh, can't wait for Dark this week then, or
So,
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. I love it. I love it that we're getting to see the dark matches.
Do you think it should be on a different day?
Why you think it should be like earlier, like the next day after Dynamite?
Either that or, like I said, Saturday morning. Pop it up on YouTube.
It doesn't matter. It's going to be watched, and at least they're using their YouTube as a great platform for other matches.
I guess. Anywho, that's pretty much it to have for Dynamite this week. So it was a good episode. Can't wait for next week in Indianapolis. 2 big matches set and some continuation here. Maybe we'll get more MJF stuff, more Chris Jericho stuff, because Chris Jericho is not billed yet to be there next week. So I don't know if he's going to be on the show or not. Hopefully we'll get an update on Kenny Omega and see where he's at with his injury. And then we also have Being Elite coming out beforehand on Monday. So maybe we'll have some stuff on there. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Other than that, like I said before, our review of Full Gear is out. We did that yesterday. And I really have nothing else left. I'm going to be working on this room as we go.
Yeah, so look out for us on Sunday, I believe 4 o'clock. We're gonna do Under the Ropes. So we'll put a tweet out. So make sure that you're following the No Holds Barred Network Twitter as well.
And also follow our social media pages, guys. Like us on Facebook at All Elite Podcast. Like us or follow us on Instagram at All Elite Pod, and follow us most importantly on Twitter at All Elite Pod. And make sure you go over to YouTube.com/No Holds Barred Network to subscribe and hit the subscribe button with the bell icon for all notification updates.
I'm gonna cut you off because we haven't talked about
what?
Listen, okay? Don't get smart with me.
I was in my groove. I was ready to do the spiel. You can't just stop me then.
I stopped you because we didn't talk about the Wrestling Hub. What's it called? The awards.
Oh, the awards. What are awards?
A freaking headache.
Yes. If you guys seen on our Twitter account, we have been promoting like crazy and hopefully getting you guys out there to vote for us. That we are nominated actually this year in 8 categories for the Wrestling Podcast Awards. That's right, ran by the Wrestle Hub, and we're nominated Best Duo Podcast, Best Trio Podcast for our interactive third guests, Best Live Podcast, which I'd love to win that award, Best Comedy Podcast, Most Informative Podcast, Newcomer of the Year, Interview of the Year with our pal Brandon Cutler, and most importantly, Podcast of the Year. That is a huge one because they only took the top 20 with the most nominations out of all the 3,000 nominees for that category, and we got chosen, folks. So make sure if you haven't voted for us, go over. The link is located down in the description below, or you can just go to bit.ly/AEP votes and vote for us on the Wrestling Podcast Awards. You can get the link from the Wrestle Hub on Twitter as well. It's also going to be ran by our pal Rant from Rant with Ant, if anyone remembers that podcast. I've been talking to him the last couple of weeks here and loving his new podcast he does with his friends. So shout outs to him as well. Guys, go vote for us and share the link and get everyone on the AEP train, your favorite AEW podcast. Yeah. And Tiff, you know what? You know where else you can listen to the AEW podcast or
Where?
AP podcast? On the go at
Oh.
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Podcast Addict, and now Anchor. We are available everywhere that is most convenient for you to listen to us and on the go. So go check us out on all those platforms. And while you're at it, go check out the AEPT store. Yes. Promoted today by our pals, These Wolves, which we'll get into in a minute. But alleapodcast.secure-decoration.com or bit.ly/AEPTs is where you can get to the AEPTs website. Order your t-shirts now. I'm wearing the beautiful and lovely Kyle Masters is Elite t-shirt, as you can see right here. Damn right. Very, very comfortable t-shirt. Have to promote it because I am elite. And there's other cool stuff on there you guys can order as well, from coffee mugs to pillow covers. I don't know how I feel about ordering pillow covers, but it is what it is. It's on there. Do want to give a special shout out to These Wolves. They have a t-shirt on there. Awesome looking t-shirt. AW logo looking t-shirt that says These Wolves, music for the elite. They also do the official theme song for the podcast with the song Dead to Me. So thank you to them and thank you to Darren as well. They partner with us, and as we sell all our t-shirts on the store, with all proceeds donated to Culture City, who are a nonprofit organization dedicated to fighting for inclusion and acceptance of all individuals regardless of their unique abilities. It's awesome. They're at every AEW event to help those people with watching their event in their unique and own way. So for more information, guys, go follow them on Twitter at Culture C on Twitter. Ooh. So other than that, I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's going to wrap it up, guys, for this episode number 55 of the All Elite Podcast. Right here in the No Holds Barred Network, your source for all wrestling podcast content. Like we said before, myself and Tiff will be back on Sunday for Under the Ropes for our Under the Ropes show with very special guests. We're doing a double episode. We're doing one on his and one on ours that day. So make sure you tune into NHB Network on Twitter for Twitter updates with that. Also, we'll be back next week with this podcast as well. Look out on All Elite Pod. His Twitter page for all that mumbo jumbo. So other than that, I am your host as always, the self-proclaimed and echoey greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I'm always joined by my co-host. She is the Heartbreak Chick, the Queen of the Indies herself, Tiffany, and her Twitter handle is at LovesToDream82. Mine is at Real Kyle Masters. And guys, that's gonna wrap it up today. Thank you for tuning into the live show. Thank you for listening back. And we'll see you guys next week and this Sunday for more podcast content. Bye.